Yeah. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Rapper. Inquisition. What? Rapper Inquisition. What? Rapper Inquisition. What? Auric field glow. I know children see it surrounding the mall and ask how to be it. When they come with color of office, ask how to do it. When they act with color of law, ask how I see it. I say I study, then study myself. Some things can't be read, so I study myself. Don't fall for the fiat trap. The only money and wealth is gold and silver. Everything within yourself. Some say it's hard to find, I beg to differ. Color of corporate fines getting stiffer. Tax you to death quicker than liquor to liver. Tell me I'm part of a cult when feds practice Wicca. A cult of witchcraft, magic, white and black. Calling spirit with candles, sacrificing cats. It's not 1492, Empire striking back. With nationality, no need for the Billy Club bats. I'm so for the jure law. I'm fighting the acts and ordinance statutes. I'm not a shadow statue. I might quote Ruth, but not Matthews. Won't fly to planets in space capsules. Won't get high, putting fire to glass tubes. Please taking little boys to private back rooms. Wake up like devil's advocate in a bathroom. I'm front row, blacks want the back seat of the classroom. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's minds get attacked, abused, and abolished. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's mind gets attacked, abused, and abolished. Iron sheet heavy, like iron made in metal. I'm preserving flowers, homo thugs pulling off petals. She loves me or not, see if a tranny loves them. More body than Jungle Brothers when tranny hugs them. I heard rappers don't care, playing with fake hair, fake breasts and eyes, lies more than cribs and daycare. Tight pants sagging, rappers in gay gear. Some MCs want each minds to stay there. I stay square standing, story from the years of nationals ruling as Moors, not non de gears. Or men of straw, Paul crush poor Paul and his Morris Shaw. Benedict wearing Prada shoes to call. For powers from a set, giving masses Mary and Jesus. With Nicene Council and Constantine genius. Paper bulls, share the sheep and tax the wool. Still pouring in his glass and cups over full. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's minds get attacked, abused, and abolished. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's mind gets attacked, abused, and abolished.
It's so true that most of us have gone through a transition. Some of the things we did was solely to impress women, to be in a state of respect and appreciation, or simply a desire to create lust stimulation. Too many racing instead of pacing. Truth is effort necessary in all successful matchmaking. Just too many faking, expecting creating to occur. First be for real, stay for real, recollect and remember. As we forever enter and exit different type of bonds. Truly up to oneself to determine what's the norm. The calm passive building or fire fast healing. Too many males today confusing, label it as revealing and self-concealing. A closet, enough of that topic. Just leave them out my mouth, they're destined to self-stop it. Logic shows how life decays and grows. Life begets life, just trust how life flows.
Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's minds get attacked, abused, and abolished. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's mind gets attacked, abused, and abolished.
Yo, where should I begin? We can start with the sweetness of the beat. Then finish this with peace, mama, this is deep. Not one of these men made you, so it's only right to elevate you. I'm being honest, I can't hide it. You're just the flyers, your flows just like yoga. You open every chakra to even have you know my name. It's such an honor. Way deeper than the Mona Lisa, you're the Madonna. Hanging above the post chair, this is hope here. Could you be the one to really open up to me? Loving me, got my heart locked like a 1 to 3. A 25 to life, forever enshrined in every rhyme that I write. Through the dark, shine a light on every struggle in this hustle. The babies and the ones who use you for your power, your skill and your vision. Cause you're real and you're living the best you know how.
Stop
so I'ma hold you down, here's your crown.
She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's minds get attacked, abused, and abolished. Stop trying to impress goddess. She's run by intuition, activated by knowledge. That's why they got her up in their college. Young God's mind gets attacked, abused, and abolished. Yeah. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Rapper, Inquisition, what? Rapper, Inquisition, what? I came up in the era of Red Flame and bass IDC mixtapes. To get in, grab one of the 12 DJs record crates and bust the back door. Don't draw attention from the zombies and line at attention. I mentioned this to say, been cognizant from back in the day. Not my will, but still in the ways of L's and Bays. Eggy B Duncan and playoff Jamal plays for the Heat. I was around, I'm not a Miami's jump and sound. Made Toronto, the Air Force Ones we call uptowns, and no-cut version we call downtowns. I told you we were on the L's. Your son still wears burgundy Cassels. Burgundy to match the fairs on his head. With locks they still call dreads. Sister wore MC Light and salt pepper type threads. We were the heads, the ready heads when heads weren't ready. And still not ready, and still not ready. And still not ready. And they're still not ready. And they're still not ready. Can't do me like Kennedy or make me be Lil Wayne for no amount of fiat. I'm independent, not indie independent. Won't change the sentence, trapped in the ether, no need for remembrance. So Poppy's pinned on my chest for war vets. When there's more vets than the war vets, they don't respect, call the war vets. Mental Akashic war chest, use the covenant art, create a vortex. Pour the plural of hex. Got alpha, now get omegas, not the whore hex. Or the saber-tooth war hex. My flows, forces are monstrous, causing mental waves in conscious waters, rhyming in mental flying saucers, walking past walking corpses, civil little mortis, mentally loose a few corkscrews or pork shrews through the stomach lining, going to doctors whining, giving blood and dying. I'm done trying, time for doing. My mind you already trying to ruin, and you're still not ready. You're still not ready.
I get emotional, thinking that my feet under the pressure of the oppressor. We got to do it, got to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together. I get emotional, thinking that my feet under the pressure of the oppressor. We got to do it, got to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together.
Gone are the days of some rest. Where are the days of less stress? Where are the days of calm unification? Fez and turban, the whole nation under a banner get banned, got hanged. Canaanland is the song slaves sang. Heading up north, past Niagara Falls. Gold on the neck and wrists on the shores. Some just walk, most rode on a horse. Sell memory of D when I lost on course. Hero on my shoulder, in my ear in Morse. Code of my art with force. My families are noble, sheikhs and laws. Breastplates of chakras, alchemist Moors. Since the battle of Tours, my face on this cross and noose. My face has troops and in roots. Let them tell your story, you lose. Hang on a corner, just another noose. Hang on a rim, slave to the game. Still got a 10 cause they got me trained. Noose on the brain, no jokes, no smiles. Bruce killers' names in library files. History of Moors, America, lies and isles. In the brewery of lies, from primary to secondary. Schools, concentration camps, lockdown scary. Twisting the laws and the keys and locks. Fascists, Nazis, those are not cops. Bloodstained shiny rocks. When fraud starts, it can't stop. But it will, with the will of the people towards self, not the church steeple. They say we equal but act opposite. Ego sees a way and then cops it. Robbing like robbing, not giving up the poor. Collecting handouts, not giving up the cure. In parts, not holistic. Mystic, natural, not eyes. Mystic, national, that's wise. Big shades, it's not iron sheet but plies. All of the puppets that sewn and stuff it. The rap game is Mick D's, that's how they love it. Climbing the charts forever, can't get above it. Putting out whack album plus with a budget. I damn rappers flows and they can't budget. Lose your $1 million house, you can't budget. They use the net and seduce a pen pal. Male or female, that's the signal. I can see Puffy the Magic Dragon puffin'. Dancing the fez, man, you just bluffing. That fez should get grabbed off your head, get bussin', and get cussing, some pushing and shoving. Rap nerds wanna be cool like McLovin. Rap Hitler put rap Jews in the oven. Rap nerds wanna be cool like McLovin. Rap Hitler put rap Jews in the oven.
Emotional, picking up my feet under the pressure of the oppressor. We got the tools to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together. I get emotional, picking up my feet under the pressure of the oppressor. We got the tools to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together.
Yeah, I get emotional. I'm on the verge of saying fuck this bro. When I look at other work that's been put in there till now, it gets more personal. More brothers in jail than enslaved. Underpaid, underserved, money craved. Prison is a rite of passage to the eyes of the youths when they're raised from the youngest age. You're not a man until you feel their cage. You kill your people with a sawed off gauge. Niggas hate themselves so much, might as well hail Hitler. Follow with the skinheads crave. Like a furry must grow unscathed. No more civil liberties getting waived. Claim my nationality, I'm a Moor, that's for sure. On the triple crown, it's engraved. For the southern I'll speak as your voice. Continue to use your option of choice. AHF is always on the battlefield with a shield. Till we win, then we'll rejoice. Back on this mic again. Genetically bred to win. I gotta thank God for this day, it's a gift that my skin's got melanin. My words must change our condition. Raise children with enough ambition. Rape for some mean rappers who can do the funny names added to this inquisition. Charlie whispers to Charlie head rush. When you trap and get your head bust. 50 steps is the way that we walk on spark in the dark. There's nothing to discuss. When I get emotional, yeah, under the pressure of the oppressor. We got the tools to make everything better. We all we got, so let's join together.
We got the tools to make everything better. We all we got, so let's join together.
Have you ever really wondered? Well, the sky is blue. I hear where the Anunnaki, is it true? Tell me what you wanna do. You wanna swim in the bling, but pool spells through. Undercover cops at your block, oh, thinking it's a god, but it's really the Gestapo. President's a damn prop, just a puppet like Pinocchio and lamb chops. Shamrock, ham hocks, take the Yoda back. Jews at the football game screaming, get a quarterback. Eminem wanna be fully, but he not a quarterback. Music videos on BET make a heart attack. Yo, body, fall to the ground, start screaming, stop. You think that it's air that you're breathing hot? You don't know about the Stargate and the Gulf of Aden that the army's not releasing. I heard Cthulhu's not sleeping. weeping. BP spills the oil, they're not weeping. Blood diamonds on the floor start sweeping into your pockets. Give me free things. Obama is the president, great, but they told you that would happen in a movie. Had to stay, get it straight. Sit in the sun and meditate. Everyone is born with an expiration date. Life is really nothing but a period of grace, separating the best genetic material from the waste and then sending it with haste into the next generation. Constant accumulation of trivial information is clogging civilization, slowing social progress, reducing the rate of evolution. That's how the humans will lose. The truth is moved. Northeast, west, and south is called news.
Emotional, keep it up, keep under pressure of the oppressor. We got to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together. I get emotional, keep it up, keep under the pressure of the oppressor. We got to take everything back. We all we got, so let's join together.
Peace, Mars. I get emotional. Watching my people fall to the pressure of the oppressor. Because they don't know that their prophet came. And they don't know that everybody knows. And since everybody knows, we're just going to go to them. Since you don't want to hear what Moors are saying. Religion and American Culture, a Journal of Interpretation. University of California Press. More sympathetic authors, such as Richard Turner and Amina McLeod, have further been swayed by Ali's use of the term Islam to describe his teachings. However, since in the early days, Moorish science in no way resembled scriptural Islam or the beliefs and practices of Muslims. These authors are forced automatically to pose Ali's religion as a problem to be justified or explained away if the Moors are to be considered legitimate Muslims. A number of scholars proceed, for instance, to use classical Arabic terminology to describe the Moors' actions or ideas, since they operate under the assumption that Moorish science was somehow Muslim in spirit, despite all outward appearances or the Western Gnostic nature of Ali's teachings. In the last 10 years, this type of retroactive Islamicization has grown into a form of scholarly political correctness that Marcella Di Leonardo has nicely termed anthropological anti-modernism. You still with us? Grounded in a romantic perception of Islam as somehow more authentic or spiritually legitimate than indigenous American new religions, the anthropological anti-modernism streak in African American Islamic studies has surfaced here as a sort of Islamocentric analysis that credits all innovation and knowledge to Islam, a term these authors never define, but to which they nonetheless ascribe agency independent of human action or interpretation. This approach, when applied to the Moors, is ultimately unsatisfying, since it neglects the overwhelming direct evidence Noble Drew Ali left us in his writings and his actions that his influences were not Muslim and rather distinctly American. So all these Alloways and indigenous whoever and Queen Mother of the whatever and all these people, none of them could make a claim. None of them could make a claim. Any claim that they make is fictitious. Because even Washita were Els and Bays, and everybody knows that they're indigenous. They went to the UN. And you're getting caught up in the fact that they say that they're Washita. With dummy, their name's Ellen Bay. What does that tell you, if their name's Ellen Bay? If Washita are Ellen Bay, and they say, yeah, we're the Cherokee Indian Washita people. We're the black indigenous people or whatever. But their name's Ellen Bay. What does that tell you? They're Indian? That's what you're going to say? Or you're going to say that they're Washita. That's what they are. Their Aboriginal indigenous language goes back how much ever, 50,000 million years or whatever. And the name they have is Ellen Bay. And you're not questioning something? They're in the UN, recognized. Whether you got 500 people claiming that they're the chief, the prince that the Washita throne is given to them or whatever like that, whatever they're claiming, that's up to them. We know, the only people we heard what rep Washita is Umar Shabazz Bey and Dr. Alim El Bey and Kadira El Bey and the Empress. And that's it. And anybody who was repping with them would be saying Washita. Which includes a lot of these indigenous people who switched up. And now there's some indigenous society or whatever. They used to be Washita. Don't let them fool you. Let them play games with you. Because there's nobody else to be with. Nobody else was active. 08. As far as indigenous or whatever, only Washita was talking indigenous. They were bringing out the map showing the lawsuit with Henry Turner against the United States and how they got the 1 million acres back. And please. And then as usual, you know, all they got to do is cut the head off and then stuff falls to the scavengers who were scavengers in the first place, vampiring her. So, and then don't forget Drew Ali's connected to that because Henry Turner is Noble Drew Ali's uncle. You know Henry Turner against the United States? They sued them and all that stuff. And then how do you think he's able to make such claims about vast estate and all that? He's Washita. He never said he's Washita though, did he? He said Aliyah. Yeah? You know the flowing pillow is Prince Flowing Pillow of the tribe of the Cherokee or whatever. No, we're Moors. Moorish nation. They're playing games. No one was making a claim as far as Aboriginal and Indigenous 08. All I know was Empress, Umar Shabazz Bey, and Dr. Alim and Kadira El Bey. Who said Washita. And then of course there was Asir the Duke of Tears, that he was talking indigenous and all that stuff, had feathers and all of that. And he's saying he's a Moor. And he got the feathers and all that. Isn't that the indigenous stuff? Isn't that the Indian stuff? Have the feathers and all that, and running around in a circle, stop the rain. That's what. Yeah. No, we're not the guys who think that running around the fire stop the rain. We're the ones who know that it's your willing and your intent that's gonna stop the rain. And you can ask Moors there, Canaanland, how much rain we stop. Having events or whatever like that, looking like it's gonna, and Moors put the intent out there. No rain. And it doesn't rain. Moors on this thing could verify we did that. Because we're Moors. As soon as you start talking about you're all this other stuff, think about it again, right? Let's go back again so this could register in your mind, right? You can go online yourself and you can pull up Washita tribe, Washita nation. Information is going to come up, regardless of who is saying it. Information about these people known as Washita is going to come up. Washita were L's and Bays. They were L's and Bays. You can go to Dr. Alimel Bay's website. You go to Dr. Alimel Bay's website. Right? And get his book, First World Order. You can go to Obashango L's website. And then that'll give you more indigenous stuff from someone who's L. But he's indigenous. He's a black Indian and all that. But how come he's L? How come he's not some tribal name? Why is he L? Even if we bring it modern day, even if we bring it modern day, right? And ICP, I see your question, don't worry. Even if we bring it modern day, right? A autochthonous one was Aboriginal, indigenous to the core. Fun about Moorish nationality? Pfft, forget all that autochthonous one and all that stuff. Ahanu L, stop playing games with me. Right? And then after that, shut down his stuff because you realize that this is BS. People don't want to be saved. They don't want to be saved. Right? So even to that point, right? Indigenous guy, autochthonous one, said, F that. Forget that indigenous BS. I studied the more stuff myself. And I'm telling you, I know what it is. And you're not denationalizing me. Proclaimed his nationality, said that he was that for a year or something like that, then shut down everything. Out of here. So no one could make the claim indigenous other than Moors. And again, they just verified it to you. This is not us talking. Go talk to the University of California. Right. We'll put this one out for you again. The overwhelming direct evidence Noble Drew Ali left us in his writings and his actions and his influences that were not Muslim but rather distinctly American. And then they have the notation where it's going to take you to, when they say American, where they get that from? The Moors' success was due precisely to their ability to speak to African Americans' desire for an innovative, alternative spirituality grounded in local religious culture. The Moors' success was due precisely to their ability to speak to African Americans, which they weren't African Americans because there was no such thing as African American in the 1920s. Desire for an innovative, alternative spirituality grounded in local religious culture. Highlighting contemporary black investigations of non-Western religions, the Moors were partly a product of a partly further inspiration to the vibrant, experimental religious scene of the interwar Chicago. Acknowledging the problems inherent in labels, Moorish science is most accurately described as a black spiritualist style religion steeped in the philosophies of mysticism, of mystical Freemasonry. The Moorish temple was also among the first African American religious movements to identify itself as Muslim. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So we're just going to go to our authority. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great Prophet of Ali in America, to appoint and consecrate missionaries of the Prophet, and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. So, I just wanted them to look at you a little bit. So when we go to Noble Drew Ali's literature, and he's talking about the Prophet of Ali in America, that's his own jurisdiction. That's not some jurisdiction that somebody has some authority over. Because remember what they said before, that this is distinctly American. People thought this was we stole some stuff from Africa and brought it over here. No, this is some stuff from here. Because when you check the reference points of Noble Drew Ali that he's presenting to you, that only people, most people who present information, they present what everybody supposed to be know and should be presenting. But there's certain people that present information that is going to get other people very upset. Because too much truth to the public is not good for the establishment. So they get rid of people. But praise Allah that they wrote something down so that we can have the reference point, even though they took them out. So Drew Ali tells you in the Quran, that's not the Quran of those guys over there, because we're not Muslim. we're Muslim. And if we're Muslim, we're in our own jurisdiction. You don't have any say. Noble Ali is our prophet. No honors to all the prophets. You know what I mean? Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and going down the line and everybody. But Drew Ali is our prophet. We're riding with what he's saying. Now you Johnny come latelys who haven't done not even half a footstep of what Noble Drew Ali did. Now you're talking that you're here to do something for somebody. Then you should be plugging everybody to his program. First of all, that we should have a nationality. Before we do Prophet of Ali and missionaries and going out and propagating the faith of Islam and talking to people, you better know that you're a Moor first. Forget about convincing your family about something and you just watched one video yesterday. And when I say yesterday, I mean, a year or something. You think you know something. This is super deep. This is deep. For those who appreciate the depth. This damn. What's up with Raspy saying the Moors were circus clowns? Yeah, the Moors were circus clowns. Yeah, we were. And we already killed that. Just go look it up. Canaanland Moors, go look it up on YouTube. Canaanland Moors, matter of fact, we'll slap you one time with it. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. How come Raspy didn't tell you this? How come Raspy didn't tell you any of this? We'll do it this way.
We're not. They don't even know what we're dealing
Yo,
with.
but again,
Magic.
who were
Not even magic though?
now when they talk about the high priest? Who were the high priests? We're taught that what? No, the word more, and according to Budge, according to Budge, the word more means high priest. High priest of Anu.
That's what I was saying. Like, what the? How does that? Oh my gosh!
Hold on. We gotta do this one. Hold on. We gotta do this one. Somebody said it in the chat. We gotta do this one.
Are you happy? Happy birthday, Snooky, your fool. I have a surprise for you. Hold me the cloud.
Oh shit! Yo! Oh my goodness!
Tony.
He wasn't funny. He was not funny.
Alright, kids. I'm homie the clown. Y'all ready to have some fun? Yeah! Alright, what y'all want me to do first?
Oh, what? Do it to the cloud dance for us.
Oh. Yeah, praise myself, huh? I don't think so. Oh, we don't play that.
Yeah, we fell in it.
You could slip on a banana peel and fall on your butt.
Oh, yeah, fall down, bust my skull open, have my blood and brains ooze out on the carpet so you can get a couple of cheap laughs, huh? I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
So the Moors were the clowns. But it wasn't a joke. Nothing was funny. Nothing was funny. The clown's the metaphysician. The clown's the alchemist. The clown. The clown is Mr. Popo. With the nigger lips and everything. Red lips. I smile, I see his chiclets. That one got killed that night. Right? So when you hear people talk certain things, just go check. You know what I mean? Just like the guy that says, yeah, exemption account, you know what I mean? 5,000 and you're gonna be free. You're gonna have a secured party creditor status and all that. Could you show me the exemption account that you got? I just want to see what you got. Yeah, once you do these papers, then no, but let me see yours that you did. Let me see your account with the zeros. Nothing? Interesting. That's how you deal with those people. Show and prove. That's old school. You might not have heard that one before. You might be too young for that one. But a lot of you people for this nationality stuff is falling for card games and stuff like that. And then they never tell you about this more right here. On top of all the stuff that they're doing to you, which is putting us in, you know what I mean, messed up situations or whatever. On top of all that, they're not telling you about him. And this is not some worshiping him or whatever like that, and we kiss his feet and all this stupid stuff like that. That's not what this is. Right? This is not some church for some guy, some Noble Drew Ali Christ guy. Even though we say prophet and all that stuff, don't think ever that when you see Moors, there's some religious thing, some religious whatever. That shouldn't even be the first thing in your mind, that it's a religious thing. If you're not a Moor, you should be wanting to go over there like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's going on? Something has to be ringing off in your head if you see a Moor. You're not seeing a Moor for no reason. You're not seeing a Moor because the Moor wants to do it. The Moor is just doing what the Moor is doing. If you see a Moor, you better go ask that Moor some questions, especially right now. Because you know you always make eye contact and then you go the other way. Right? Because it's outside of your realm. And your comfort zone. It's just comfy with the blankie. Get the blankie. But you have to shake it up sometimes. You have to fall off the bike. You can't not fall off the bike. Come on. Especially if you're trying to do the backflip over the whatever. Like you're gonna have to fall off the bike. That just comes with it. You know? But it's how you deal with falling off the bike. You know, fall off the bike and just be a suck, or you get back on the bike. Because I saw a dude do the standing handstands. Oh, I gotta learn to do that. So you have to take this like you take everything else with the lumps. Just take it with the lumps. It's all right. It's nothing personal. It's just how it is on the path. All that other stuff that you were on, thought that was the path. That wasn't the path. Knowing that you're a Moor is the path. Nothing else is the path. And again, we already know 5 of you out there will be like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I never thought about that. You're going to go do some research and you're going to be declaring who you are. You're playing these wardship games. Because, people hear Moors talking, they go right back to wardship. So we know that it's a spell that they have on our people. We know it's a spell. Only by examining the rich local context of ideas and beliefs that gave Moorish science meaning in the 1920s can we understand how such a religion came to exist in the interwar Chicago. We must take seriously the motivations of the rank and file Moors who adopted a faith that can appear so unintelligible to outsiders. Indeed, if Moorish science had seemed as perplexing to the working class Southerners who joined the religion as it has to the journalists and scholars who have wondered about it, Noble Drew Ali would not have converted a single soul. The Moorish prophet Noble Drew Ali had been drawn to the rich popular intellectual scene that developed in the black storefront churches and street universities of the urban north after the Great Depression migration. There, a significant number of people found meaning in Ali's words, building a nationwide movement with Moorish Science Temple in a dozen cities and card-carrying membership. At least 3,000 nationwide, and no doubt a considerably larger number of sympathizers. The Moors pragmatically put their beliefs into action by publishing a newspaper, running their own businesses, lobbying for political candidates, and developing a prominent, if ephemeral, national public profile. Not a religious profile? How come it wasn't a religious profile? How come it wasn't there recognized by the churches and recognized by... Well, no, it was a national profile. Well, it should be a national profile because, they're flying a national flag. They have national attire that they wear. I mean, these Moors who are students of Noble Drew Ali, they have their own holy book. Doesn't this seem interesting to you? That these people know that the Moors published a newspaper, were running their own businesses, and lobbying for political candidates. And there's pictures of Noble Drew Ali with political candidates. What are you missing? Really curious to know what you're missing. Because remember that Noble Drew Ali is the first. Noble Drew Ali is the first to ever speak Islam to our people in the 1920s that look like us. No one was speaking Islam before him here. So anything that's Islamic here in America after 1929, when Drew Ali transitioned, is because of him. Solely. And again, had their own newspaper. People got a newspaper today bragging and boasting that they got a newspaper. Where's the Mars newspaper and all that stuff, right? Where were they in the 1920s? Where were they? How come their name wasn't being mentioned handing out papers and bean pies in the 1920s? Oh, because that was somebody else's stuff that they jacked and then started doing that. And make it look like it's them that were the founders of doing that. When no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was Noble Drew Ali who's the founder of all that black African whatever's know thyself stuff going on in America. It's all because of Noble Drew Ali. And you could see how many traitors there are by how many people say that they're Moors and how many people say they're everything else except Moors. And it's nothing personal. You know what I mean? You still go to the game if you get good tickets or whatever. It's not hating. You get it. Everybody has their path. Everybody has their path. Noble Drew Ali's death and surveillance by police and the FBI finally drove the movement to become increasingly introverted and critical of the American government in the 1930s and 40s. 30s and 40s. This is after Noble Drew Ali. So this is their scope, their lens is from 1930 onward when it comes to Moors doing things. Not looking at what Drew Ali was doing. And then you have all these Moors talking about their reincarnated Noble Drew Ali and all this. And if you have any questions, just put it in the chat in all caps. Before this, in the late 1920s heyday, Noble Drew Ali self-published his revelation, the Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple. Ali introduces his works by explaining that the Quran stories of Jesus' mystical life in Tibet, India, and Egypt, its revisionist black history, and its instructions for divine day-to-day living are not new. Rather, he states that the Quran contains ancient truths held secret by the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, but now revealed to African Americans through their prophet Noble Drew Ali. When the prophet explained that his ideas were not new, he was not lying. In fact, he borrowed much of his scripture from earlier texts well known in black and white American mystical circles. No scholars seem to have noticed Ali's plagiarism until the 1940s, when academics at the Hartford Theological Seminary accidentally identified his writings as having been borrowed almost entirely from two other works. It is fortunate that Noble Drew Ali did not fancy himself to be a great writer. As a result, the sources of Ali's inspiration are explicably clear because he copied these texts word for word, page by page, with few changes. Now again, those books that Noble Drew Ali made reference to are ancient texts that somebody else said that they're ancient texts. So, copyright's 50 years, right? Do you think somebody has some jurisdiction over some ancient text? That people can't use it for whatever it is they wanted once it's for good? So recognizing that this is why they made reference to Noble Drew Ali said, let's go to him. Let's go to him. Let's back up what they just said. You have to realize that he took away all the BS. He took away all the BS. Right? Why do they never want to talk about chapters 45 and beyond when they speak about this copying BS? Because they know they can't. And they have to keep up this whole thing of making him look like he's not the prophet, make him look like he's some snake oil salesman type of deal, some con man preacher, whatever. So they'll take out of the whole book, they'll take the section that he copied from ancient texts, claim that he plagiarized it from somebody's book. Because remember, the person where he's quote unquote plagiarizing it from said that it's not theirs. And they never charged them for plagiarism. Right? Know thyself and thy father God Allah. The genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for those of you who love Jesus and desire to know about his life works and teachings. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons, right? Saying he plagiarized something, whatever, right? Do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons you can set your house in order, and your children would learn to love instead of hate. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927 by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So these lessons that Noble Drew Ali retrieved and presented to the Moors is for us to know what being good is, know what peace is, know what happiness is, for us to have lessons to teach to the little ones, because obviously we're messed up too, so us teaching them is going to teach us, that they may learn to love instead of hate. We could end the generational curses of hate him because he lives on the other side of the street and all that, when we're the same people, we're the same nation. You can use the lessons to get your house in order. And again, so your children will learn to love instead of hate, this repetitive theme, because we're full of hate because of this indoctrination that we have about some slave stuff that has nothing to do with anything. So we hate somebody because they did something to us. No, they didn't. We did something to ourselves. Right, Jolly brings all the stuff, took all the lessons, all the mystical lessons from the mystical orders. He took away the secrets and all that stuff from the societies. What do you think he's talking about? He's talking about all this stuff, all these excerpts of Unto Thee I Grant and Aquarian Gospel that these people had in their secret chambers ruling over us with. So he took it from them and gave it to the people. So the people have access to it. And they still didn't want it. He gave them the manual that they're using to hold our people in Negro, black, colored, whatever ritual that they're doing to do that, to get those people to be stuck there. Right? Now we have the stuff that they used, and we want to be Negro, black, colored. We want to be black Indians. We want to be 5 hawks and 9 feathers and all this. Right. The first half of the Quran came from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ, first published in 1907, which was plagiarized from the Akashic Records. Right? This work is one in a long tradition of Apocrypha describing Jesus as a mystical figure, only one of the number of Christs in world history. The Aquarian Gospel was very influential in the first 3 decades of the 20th century among black spiritualists and white believers in Gnostic spirituality or New Thought, who understood Jesus' miracles not as work of God, but as evidence of his ability to tap into his own divine essence. Many perceived Jesus as a profound example of a degree of perfection that all men and women could strive for through examination of the wisdom of mystical brotherhoods, which dated back to the ancient Holy Land and Egypt. Oh, so if this stuff's going back to Egypt and all that stuff, and then Noble Ali's bringing you this stuff that came from Egypt through Aquarian Gospel, then all the Egyptologist people should be down with the Moorish thing, because this is their secret lessons. Oh, but yes, that's right. The Moors were the high priests of Anu. It wasn't the Egyptians. The white author of the Aquarian Gospel, Levi Dowling, professed to having received a number of revelations through a process known as automatic writing, whereby one could extract information from the Akashic records. Known alternatively as divine substance or the Book of God's Remembrances, American mystics understood the Akashic records as evidence of the unity of all humankind and an invisible chronicle of thought and deed from the beginning of time. Levi's readings of the Akashic records emphasized the divinity of each person and foretold a day when all men would shed their human bodies and take on a spiritual form. He communicated this message by way of retelling of the lost years of Jesus Christ. The New Testament does not account for the 18 years of Jesus' life between the ages of 12 and 30. Dowling's work addresses this omission and presented an alternative history whereby Jesus travels during these lost years through Egypt, India, and Tibet, gaining invaluable spiritual wisdom from Buddhists, Hindus, and scholars of Egyptian mystery schools. Upon discovering how to overcome his human self, Jesus returns to the Holy Land where he is persecuted, then crucified. Afterward, he appears in Asia and Africa to revisit his teachers and disciples in his spiritual form and to promise each human will someday discover his or her own divinity and be reborn as a spirit one with God. Ali engaged in this tradition of the mystical Jesus by adapting Dowling's Jesus to his own conception of human nature and the black community he sought to serve. Copying numerous chapters from the Aquarian Gospel, Ali changed all the references of God to Allah, choosing to use the Arabic word, though it holds the same meaning, may have seemed more authentic to him. The prophet must have seen himself describing in the first pages of the Aquarian Gospel, where Eva S. Dowling, Levi's wife, reprinted another of her husband's manuscript, Cusp of the Ages, in which Levi proclaimed, "This age will be an age of splendor and of light, because it is the home age of the holy breath. The holy breath will testify anew for Christ, the Logos of eternal love. At first of every age, this Logos is made manifest in flesh, so man can see and know and comprehend a love that is not narrow and circumscribed." Dowling called Cups of the Ages his commission as the new Christ. Noble Drew Ali may have interpreted these words as an articulation of his own divine revelation. Although he plagiarized the Aquarian Gospel, Ali probably did not discover his calling as a prophet while reading Dowling's work. Rather, Ali likely conceived of himself at some point earlier, perhaps seeing the Aquarian Gospel as a previously misinterpreted text that actually foretold his own life. Filled with a sense of prophetic mission, the words Christ, Logos, Logos of eternal love, spoke to Ali's belief in a coming of age of African American renewal of splendor and of light, with himself as the Logos, channel for the holy breath. Indeed, in the Moorish Catechism, Quran Questions for Moorish Children, Ali described himself as Allah's prophet. Question number 6 asks, what is a prophet? The answer, a thought of Allah manifested in flesh, echoing Dowling's Christ Logos, made manifest in flesh above. Ali found more truth contained in Dowling's readings of the Akashic Records. Chapter 1 of the Quran, taken from a section of the Gospel entitled Man, mirrored Ali's explanation for the perceived sorry state of African American society. Dowling spoke of such suffering as a necessary state that would trigger divine self-transformation, spiritually and physically, because spirit man, as a seed of God, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of God. Ali placed his explanation at the beginning of the Holy Quran to contextualize the story of Jesus' illumination and transformation, and to explain with his converts why urban black culture seemed marked by family breakdown, poverty, and discrimination. Ali, borrowing from Dowling, advised Moorish Americans, without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Noble Drew Ali saw the higher self or soul as the divine essence within each person. The lesson of Morris science was to enable one's higher self to conquer the carnal or lower self in order to experience peace and abundance in life. Within the context of the 1920s Black Chicago, with its vice districts, gambling houses, unemployment, and racial tensions, Ali's metaphor of the overcomings of the lower carnal self presented a way for blacks to raise themselves above a difficult situation. Ali then turns his attention to the main body of Dowling's Aquarian Gospel, which details Jesus' life and travels in Africa and Asia. Now, nowhere here is there any reason to think that Aquarian Gospel is some negative book, something that you can't get some lessons from for your life to make you better. Noble Ali put his energy on it. This is why he told the Moors that it's not for sale, because it's not his stuff. He had to check other sources. In order to, because also too, remember that in Moorish Leaders' Historical Message, the Moorish Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms as something new. Whatever the reasons may be for their opposition, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. As they desire. So it was all part of the divine plan. If you're going to have a nation, you're going to have the religion. If you have a religion, you're going to need a holy book. If you are going to have a religion, you are going to have a holy book. And remember, Noble Drew Ali is tied to sovereignty. And he was taking the position of being grantor, trustee, and everything else that has the authority to say, here, you're a beneficiary, 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 you're one, you're one, you're one. All you got to do is follow these teachings. That's all. Just follow these teachings. But it's so hard because they never told you. So you would always take this as something new. When this is one of the longest standing examples of whether it's the religious ideal, the national, the economic, whatever, the fact that there's still Moors around 100 years later, knowing that they're Moors, knowing about Noble Drew Ali, putting him out there, making sure he gets his plug, just because of everything that went into try to keep it down, try to keep you not knowing about him. Right? There's a lot out there that people say when it comes to him. That's why I always say, find out from Moors. Find out from Moors. Don't ask black guys about Moors. They don't know about Moors. Don't ask Hebrews and whoever else about Moors. Don't ask them. Find a Moor. If you can't find a Moor, then do your own research. Right? If it's like that. We give supreme honors to Noble Drew Ali. It doesn't stop being proven that he's the man. And what he did was right and exact. And that it's so right and exact that it even works now. It even applies now. That's how right and exact what he did was. So we give him supreme honors. And we give all the Moors worldwide, honors. Honors to you. All the Moors. The honorable, sincere Moors. The faithful Moors. The handful Moors. Honors to the handful Moors. Of course, honors to all the mothers. Study, study, study. There's a lot out there. And make sure you support your own. Peace and love, Moors. Islam.
More and more I am being guided to study more. Muslim. You Muslim call it? Yes, I am. But I'm a Moor.
Cause it's the wave, yeah?
Nah. I'm a Moor.
At last, we do the dash. I'm marathon in my time. Stay on the line. I'm never stalling like Malcolm. I spill the facts. You still applaud and they hate, assassinate, and y'all award them. By the mass, I choose sets. Word to Boston. In the lab with crew necks, herbs and tonics. In the class with scientists doing the math, writing hieroglyphs. I'm the man with the iron fist. Got a past full of darkness. Catching that ghost like a house when it's haunted. Doing the most with the status of a lease home. I spend my whole life running for police cars. I spent my lifetime running from my evils. Ain't know myself, thought I was a different people. My people say they couldn't find the answers. Never heard of Moors, but know all about the Panthers. We catching cancers. I was last dragon, knew I was a master. Started from a servant, chapter 28.
We all we got.
We all we got. We all we got. Oh, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. So upon the law, put my feet fears in the dungeon. We all we got. We all we got.
Love for the mothers, brothers, enemies, and others. Love for those with no shelter, eaten from the gutters. Truth of vibration so strong it heals. Truth is the second principle of our divine creed. Truth is art. For it many died and some fought. Truth doesn't apologize and need a mascot. Truth must be known and not just only love genius. Truth is not for all men, only those who seek it. Peace be still, be integrity, behold upright. Peace is a mind state, no need to be uptight. Peace in the greeting or passage when I leave. Peace will not rest but rise when you grieve. Freedom of speech taken away like sheep led to slaughter. Freedom for souls trapped, out of control kidnapped daughters. Justice or death, after that what's left? Justice for the husk, become one with the holy breath.
I was a last dragon, knew I was a master. Started from a servant, chapter 28. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got. Oh, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. So upon the law, put my fears in the dungeon. We all we got. We all we got. Staying on guard, the 5-pointed star renegade with the J scimitar. It got the thinnest blade. We blaze in the halls until the feeling fades. The game's in my heart, ain't nothing minute made. Reversing this mystery, y'all. Cursing this history, nigga. That turns burned in my mind and crime hinders me. Say hi, Timothy. This is divine ministry focused upon getting the mind about a misery.
Justice denied, ignorance prevails. Justice the balance, but I see just us in the jails. Justice can only reign with a free national name. Justice gives no pleasure or has no shame. So love speak truth, so peace can exist. For freedom to democracies not to exist. Fill out the census wrong, end up on the stock list. Tight with the fam like locks twist, the Moorish occultist.
I was the last dragon, knew I was a master. Started from a servant, chapter 28. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got. Oh, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. So upon the law, put my fears in the dungeon. We all we got.
Ain't gonna never argue with you that I'm
We all we got.
Where you murdering the beat?
Red flag, wave it. Red tag, save it. Red, green, what that means, Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got claim LB? Not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, all pristine and so awful. Know thyself, the father from my art capstone. Ripped the ground, we put it back to top. See some real engineering, really no Indies near here. Blackstone from the next planet. Still you have no talk, just a stick faggot. Batman still up in the cave, he got some sick gadgets. Nigga rich run a whole city with no power till apocalypse now. In the door coward. Red flag make a 7 as it rains. A flag above many that has waved. Self I'm here to save. I'm an all-man, got a lot of lip, chopped up to say back up. You see the red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, that I mean Morris Lands Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, all pristine and so off. Red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, what that mean Morris Lands Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, some obscene, some cordial.
I value representation, this flag represents a nation. Collecting information, tracing our roots, not chasing. Pacing my progress, doing more, saying less. Black, white, gray, MSF, RMG in our breath. The depth of what we do is best presented by how we grew. What's true is ear of the beholder to proof answers question over. Some call it closure, I prefer to say we open since we still scoping for knowledge and others now awoken. Hoping little to not, prefer work, plan, plot, strategize to maximize the probability we sought caught between honor and a smart place. The decisions that we make, ripple effects minor or great, still I appreciate.
Red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, that I mean Morris Lands Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, all pristine and so off. Red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, what that mean Morris Lands Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, some obscene, some cordial.
50,000-year-old ancestral claiming, flag in the ground, hear the flapping fabric sound. Red for the bloodshed or celestial realms, when all you see is feathers and turbans. be overwhelmed. Standing on the squares, independent and fearless. From lower self to higher self, with no interference. 5-point star is her, we call her Venus. My niggas are Nagas, improper persona genius. In 3, 5 or 7 plus, whenever you see us. Moorish national disciples, Prophet Ali and Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. The same frequencies, preceding all man-made religions. Displaying decency, secret teaching of the ages. The heart is where the life is. Osiris is Orion, Horus, Mars, Sirius, Isis. Clear conceptions of your work during a crisis. Rep my flag till I'm dust or the husk is lifeless. Rep my flag, red, green, 5-point star, no gold fringes. Stand on my square, no liberty infringes. No rights violated, no Negroes emancipated. All they know is castrated and decapitated. Red flag, 5-point green star. How far we are?
Red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, that I mean Morris Land Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Luscious green was the porcelain, or pristine and so forth. Red flag waving, red tag saving, red green, what that mean Morris Land Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin? Not the name MJ. Luscious green was the porcelain, some obscene, some cordial, tops turban.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Morris, when these fall, Shalon Davis, salute, hot house, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority, why you so late? Majority rules, here comes the test. Fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never terrenilious. That is my land, never vacant. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland to Portmore, everybody needs more. We feel please more. Following apostles, we should read more. I see the unseen more, we more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they wanna learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling harder when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. Eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got him cocooning. As the full moon hung, spiral energy moving up through the crown chakra.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Morris, when these fall, Shalon Davis, salute, hot house, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority, why you so late? Majority rules, here comes the test. Fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never terrenilious. That is my land, never vacant. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland to Portmore, everybody needs more. We feel please more. Following apostles, we should read more. I see the unseen more. We more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they wanna learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling haram when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. Eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got him cocooning. As the full moon hung, spiral energy moving. Up through the crown chakra, energy shooting. And told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming. 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing Drew Ali but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's placation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, scimitars penetrating. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused. Islam to all the Moors. Islam to all the Moors. Can you help us solve this mystery? Can you help us solve this mystery? Recently, the National Heritage Museum acquired a set of fraternal jewels, which you can see here. The 5 jewels appear to be a part of a set. They are made out of the same metal and have identical pins at the top, with a crescent moon and a 5-point star resting on clouds. Each jewel has a different pendant hanging from the top piece: a harp, crossed gavels, scales, an open book, and a lantern. They were found in Connecticut, although it is not known if they were originally made or used there. The jewels do not show any engraving or inscriptions to help us identify the group that initially used them, so we are seeking more information. Have you ever seen anything similar? Do you know of a fraternal or Masonic group that uses these symbols? In the May 2009 issue of the Scottish Rite Northern Masonic Jurisdictions, The Northern Light, we published a picture of these jewels and asked the same questions. Prior to this, we received suggestions that the jewels might be part of the Daughters of the Nile or the White Shrine of Jerusalem, but comparisons to symbols and jewels from those groups are not conclusive. Northern Light readers wasted no time to contact the museum with suggestions. One reader noted a comparison between the star and crescent on the jewels and the Old Fellows Cemetery in Ennis, Texas. While similar, the mystery jewels differ significantly from other Oddfellows jewels in the National Heritage Museum collection. For another reader, the symbol on the mystery jewels called to mind the moon, the star seen on jewelry for members of the Dramatic Order of Knights of Corrosin, a group related to the Knights of Pythias. But comparisons between our mystery jewels and the symbols for this group did not turn up any conclusive match. Still, another reader suggested that the jewels might be associated with the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you have any questions, please write, comment below, let us know. Now, first of all, take note that there's absolutely There's absolutely no way that crescent and star belongs to some Europeans. Right? Crescent and stars don't belong to Europeans. Crescent and star does not belong to Europeans. Crescents and stars do not belong to pale people. Right? They don't. That's just what it is. Don't get mad or anything like that and start bringing up Masonic lodges and all that. Masonic lodges are modern. So they stole their stuff from somewhere too. So forget them. And we already know that the original European was the black man and all that stuff. And we know that. We know. That's why pale people was put in there. So you know exactly who I'm talking about. You're not going to be confused if I tell you pale people. Crescent and stars don't belong to them. If it belongs to anyone, it belongs to Asiatics, which would be dark-skinned people. So they have the lantern, which is the light, which represents the Moors. They have the scales, which is the law, which is Moors, which is also Ma'at, and everything else that has to do with law. They have the gavels, which is the judicial. How much Moors have a judicial proclamation out there? Any Moors out there? Any Moors wonder what judicial proclamation means? And the gavel? If you're confused, that means you're the judge. Then you have the harp, which is going behind the veil. That's the divine. And then you have the open book, which everybody knows. Grandma used to have the open book on the table and all that stuff, and they never related that to crescent and stars. But they always had the book open. And the Psalms, and protect the house and all this stuff. Right? Doing the ritual, but not doing the ritual. Because remember, they got everything from us. Everything that they have is a replica of us. The only reason we brought this up because they mentioned Morris Science Temple in the article. We don't care about some little trinkets. The point of bringing this up because they mentioned Morris Science Temple of America. And these are Masons. So if they're mentioning it, then how come you don't know? How come National Heritage Museum people are talking about Morris Science Temple? Matter of fact, they actually made it red. Let's push this and see what happens. Morris Science Temple, let's see where it goes. Now when you push Morris Science Temple, where do you get? Morris Science Temple, 1913.org. Let's just go see there. Let's just go see their officials. See how credible these people are. You start realizing that you're running into issues. Because why would Moorish Science Temple of America, which is supposed to be Moorish, have U.S. banner before the Moroccan flag? Why? Why do they have pews? And why do they sing hymns to Noble Drew Ali and all that? And when you go and ask anyone about civics, they couldn't tell you the last ticket they fought. They couldn't tell you the last time they put down their nationality card and got taxes off on a big purchase. This is where they're going to send you. And they have it up on their site that you can go check. Just go to the navigation and then go to history. Telling you about Noble Drew Ali. Prophet makes a plea to the nation. They're giving you all the goods, right? They're giving you all the goods. That's where they send you. That's where they send you. So we just want to let you know that the Masonic guys know who the Moors are, even though the temples that the Masonic guys are going to reference aren't going to be the ones that affiliate with us, and they're going to call us the renegades, and you know what I mean? We're not doing what the prophet brought and all that. Right? Those are the ones that they always use as their stuff. And then we had to let you know that somebody talked to him. Somebody advised him to not do the Q&A live. So we're supposed to be working on a reschedule. We'll see what's up. We're just letting the people know because, you know, we let the people know that we're going to do it. And then it got canceled. It wasn't canceled today. It was canceled probably 3 days ago. And weird, you know, I didn't get the email until today. Right? Didn't get the email until today. And then he sent me the email showing that he sent it 3 days ago. But I didn't get the email till today. Oh yeah, right on time, Moore. You didn't miss it yet. So, got the email that it was advised, you know, to reschedule, which ain't no big deal. We're going to do what we're going to do regardless, you know. But there was no, you know what I mean, no BS, you know. Got to postpone it. Got advised to hold on a second. All right, cool. Hold on. Do your thing. You know, just let us know when. We're here. You know what I mean? We're here. Just say the word. Just say the word. So that's postponed. But we're still riding on with Drew Ali Day, January 8th, 2022. It's just 25 notes. Get your name on the email list on the day of. We'll send you your link. And you could sit back with your chips and dip or whatever for the day and celebrate Noble Drew Ali with Canaanland Moors. 12th annual. So if this is your first one, you missed 11, go on YouTube, check, and you could get yourself caught up to you know, yourself caught up to where we're at. You know. That it's honors to the Prophet Drew Ali, always, and no one is going to take that away. Too much. Too many Noble Drew Ali days for them to take that away. They can take everything else away, but they're not getting away with saying we didn't honor the Prophet. They can say we didn't honor everything else, but they could not say we didn't hold Drew Ali to a high standard. Just because, you know, why not? We want Allah coming for our head and all that BS. Playing any of that BS. Justin Trudeau shares father's dislike for clause allowing override of charter rights. December 17th, 2021. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau shares his late father's disdain for the constitutional notwithstanding clause, and he's not ruling out asking the Supreme Court to weigh in on Quebec's preemptive use of it to trample the rights of religious minorities. In a year-end interview with the Ottawa Bureau of the Canadian Press, Trudeau said that the Charter rights and freedoms is supposed to be a bulwark against popular measures that attack the rights of minorities. But the Charter's notwithstanding clause allows a government to say, regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that's wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do it. It's basically a loophole that allows a majority to override fundamental rights of a minority. And that's why I agree with my father that it is not a great thing to have in a charter of rights and freedoms. Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. Okay, we'll give that a little check mark on that one. Guarantee of rights and freedoms. Rights and freedoms in Canada. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in it, subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. But then, when you go to training manual number 2000-25 from the War Department of 1928, a democracy is a government of the masses. Authority derived through mass meeting or any other form of direct expression results in mobocracy. Attitude toward property is communistic, negating property rights. Attitude toward law is that the will of the majority shall regulate, whether is be based upon deliberation or governed by passion, prejudice, and impulse, without restraint or regard to consequences. Results in demagogism, license, agitation, discontent, anarchy. Everybody want democracy, right? Didn't they? And what are they getting right now? Aren't they getting exactly everything that we just read? People rule. They think that they're the majority. They got the power. They don't recognize that because they got a license and all that stuff. They're actually the minority. And the minority in law is civiliter mortuus. That's why the Bill of Particulars from 20 years ago broke it down for you, that we give it out to people for free, and they still want to play games like they don't know what more they're talking about. This brief presents a timely demand for more definite statements concerning the nature, the cause, and the intent of those who reference themselves and other natural people as African Americans or African Canadians. They, then switch up and teach black history or African history or conscious history or whatever. Who are they talking about? This has been a particularly interesting practice of modern scholars and historians. We have examined and read many books, articles, and historical documents, etc., and have come to the clear understanding and conclusion that the political interests and concepts of the people are compromised, confusing, and misleading regarding constitutional principles and de jure government. First, there exists no nation of black Americans, nor is there a black America in any documented record the world over. Black Americans are what is referred to in law as a misnomer, or collectively misnomers. As you well know, grammatically, black is an adjective and not a proper noun. Socially and politically, black implies civiliter mortuus, which means dead in the eyes of the law. Black American is not a nationality. Black Canadian is not a nationality. African Canadian is not a nationality, nor is it a nation. Therefore, black has no political interest nor powers in the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. So to the question, why would MSTA push this instead of teaching the correct information to make sure that the people stay civiliter mortuus? The more civiliter mortuus people there are, the more these MSTA churches and whatever get the recognition. They're the ones that's going to get the interview. They're the ones that's going to get called when they have to do Moroccan Day, whatever. They're the ones that's going to get called to go on divorce court and do BS too. Right? That's how you just stay in your lane. Since 2008, that temple that we were brought into, right? Alim's Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Grand Sheik Nature's Great Seal Moorish Science Temple of America, and that was about it, as far as Moorish Science Temple is concerned. And then back then was also Moorish American National Government. And those were the temples that were doing something. Everybody else playing church. When this was never about church. This was about getting you from the dead status or the civiliter mortuus to nationality. Knowing who we are now. Not pretending that we know who we are when we don't really know who we are. Right, we're talking about reality versus illusion. The illusion is all the other statuses that all just lead to civiliter mortuus. That all of it leads to civiliter mortuus. Right. Look, this is what they're talking about. In a year-end interview with the Ottawa Bureau of the Canadian Press, Trudeau said the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is supposed to be a bulwark against popular measures that attack the rights of minorities. And then you're thinking, yeah, minority rights. Minorities don't have rights. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as rights for minorities. They only get privileges. People might present them as rights to them, but those aren't rights. Those are privileges. So you can't count on those. So we as a people will continue to get murdered in the open so they can benefit from popularity. That's a sad people. That's a sad people. That's why the world doesn't respect people who call themselves black. It's not some Moorish thing that we say, oh, we're not black, and then you thinking that we're against our people or something like that. No, no one likes the minorities. It's not a bias. You call yourself black, and Moors don't like that, so you think we're against something? No, you ask anybody else. They're against it too. Because that creates statelessness. And nobody wants statelessness, because once you have statelessness, then you're going to have the murdering and all the stuff that you're complaining about. Everyone knows this. Right? They have brothers in the West who on their islands that they're murdering drug dealers. Like, oh, that's what you're going to do? Murder. Just get rid of him. We'll clean this place up yet. We'll clean this place up yet. Oh, and if it's traitors and sellouts and stuff like that to the nation, they don't stand a chance. They're empty jails. Empty. One man in there because he spit. People don't want to be the minority. Minorities don't have rights. There's no such thing as minority rights. Attack the rights of minorities as if minorities have rights. Minorities don't have rights. Minorities don't have rights. And again, they're going to go to the Constitution and then say, well, it's the Charter of Rights. Well, Charter is granted by the sovereign. So who gave these rights? It wasn't Canadian government, because they can't create their own charter. And then on top of that, you're going to go pull this one up and ask yourself, well, if Canada doesn't have a constitution, then how they have a charter of rights for people? And if they don't have a charter of rights for people, then how interesting. Yeah, don't forget, put your questions in all caps so you don't get lost in the chat and then blaming us for not answering your questions and stuff like that. What do you think about Emperor Khufu open calls he's been speaking on? Who's Emperor Khufu? If I'm not seeing Ellen Bay and all that stuff, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't listen to indigenous guys and none of them. We don't listen to them for info. We study. We got time to listen to people. But whoever Emperor Khufu is, I want to know what empire he's the emperor of. The only empire is the Moorish Empire. And there's no emperor of that like that. It's not like that. Imperial, royal, whatever. Like what? Why they need all those stuff on there for? What they need all that for? If they're Ellen Bay and they and Alan Ali, what they need imperial, royal, emperor, embassy, and all that stuff for? Those people are egomaniacs. Maybe the imperial, royal, this and that. What do you need that for? You're not gonna make it through the fire without Drew Ali, who's the water. So that part's covered. And then Allah guides this. So what do you need all the imperial and all this? So people get lost. That's how people get played. If you want, you could push the thing and we could talk about it. Because I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I don't watch those people. Like we have more Avengers. We don't need any of these people who just came yesterday. They can't tell me anything that's gonna blow my socks off or whatever. Been there, done that. Like we're the adepts now. The ones who've been putting in work, we're it now. Time for the elders to go put their feet up. You know, it's new Moore's time. Eyes wide open, seeing and knowing. And just carry out the law. You already know what's good if you've been studying. You know? Right? If we can't go through, because again, for Canaanland Moors, we always use ourselves as the reference point. So we're not talking about anything before our existence. Right? Our existence moving forward is what we're doing that. Anything before our existence is Noble Drew Ali. And you know, whatever else we find about the Moors. Everything else is BS. You know? Please. So 08 forward. So from 08, whoever were the master teachers 08, they're still the master teachers today. Right? Because you're looking at least a 30, 40 years before you're a master. You know? Like you thought you were good when you three-peated. But then you came back and three-peated again, that's when you know you're a master. Because the three look good. But the 6, that's where you want to be at. Master. It takes time to get there. You're not a master tomorrow, so don't even worry about it. That's why as soon as people start talking about emperor and all this type of stuff, like, what are you talking about? You go back 20 years ago, you were a Negro selling packages or whatever. No, it's not passing info, because I would have heard about him in 08. And tell me about no sovereign venue outside of the Queen and the Pope. We've been had sovereign venue outside the Queen and the Pope. That's what Moorish Science Temple's for. That's what Moorish Empire is. That's what Moorish Divine and National Movement, Moorish Holy Temple of Science is. That's what our dominion and inhabitation extended across the Atlantis onto present North, South, Central America and the adjoining islands. That's a sovereign venue. How come nobody's talking about that? And you're right. It's not a debate. But where was Emperor Guy 10 years ago? Right? When we got our charter to be Moorish Science Temple of America in 08, Moors told us there's no queen. How are you telling me about a queen in 2021? In 08, when we first came into this and got our charter to be Moorish Science Temple, these Moors said, we are the authority out here. It's not a queen and a pope in 08. Right? right? Drew Ali's the man. We're not repping for anybody else. Everybody else is a master teacher. If anybody's gonna be an emperor, it's gonna be Drew Ali. I don't care if he's dead. I'm repping with Drew Ali before anybody who has some trust or some sovereign venue that they're claiming that they're the man. I'm not even hearing it because I already know that's all ego. The first thing you should be mentioning is Drew Ali. That'll be the first thing. First thing you should talk about is Islam, Mars, peace, and all that stuff. Talk about some Emperor Khufu. Right? There ain't no debating thing. We know what we know. And we're riding with Drew Ali. Especially if we ain't heard from them or about them since 2008. They're not credible to me.
There's a lot more.
Peace, more.
Yeah. So basically, I've been looking at the YouTube videos, right? And outside of everybody talking, how you got all of the Moors who saying, just claim your nationality, file some papers, this, that, and the third. But none of the Moors have something set up where the government can go on your behalf and send your documents to, the de facto whatever. So what's
Okay, but what's that
your
gonna do?
outtake on that?
No, what's that? So they let whoever the heads of the government know something on behalf of me. And now what happened now?
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying like when I
No, I'm
got
saying
my
if I went with the idea that they have the connection, they have the proper people to send the document to, they have the proper document for us to do whatever. I'm saying, okay, after we do that, what are we doing after that?
I'm kind of lost at what you're kind of saying right now.
You're saying that they're the government, right? Emperor Khufu has a government set up.
Right.
Is what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm getting at, yes.
All right, okay. So since they have this thing set up, after I become part of that, now what happens now? Like, what's the next move? Because, for example, where we're at, we have a temple bookstore, right? Where we're at, we have temple meetings. Where we're at, we've been celebrating Noble Drew Ali for the past 12 years. Where we're at, we have a building where we got a key and we got a code to put on the alarm system and all that. So if what's being presented isn't adding on to what I'm already doing, then what are we doing?
All right, so okay, that's the thing. That's the thing. Maybe I jumped on a little too late in, what you were saying. So, okay, let's just rewind a little bit. Like I said, I'm coming in kind of late, so I was just throwing
It's all
some
good.
information
It's not nothing. Yeah, ain't nothing.
All right, so
Yeah.
what's your you just said where you're at. What's your outlook at, working together with somebody who speaks on having all of these things in place that has a jurisdiction outside of certain people that's trapping people that look like yourself and myself? What's your opinion on something like that?
We would if they're on that, we would already be unified and doing what we're doing right now. Because we build with Moors all over the world.
That's why I just
Like
asked you the question.
me
Did
personally,
you hear the open calls? Just because, like I said, I jumped in late. I didn't know where you were at. Obviously, you don't know where I'm at. So I was just, asking the question, like, have you heard about it first and foremost?
No, that's what I was saying. I never heard about it because we have our zone. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Our zone, where we get our information from, it covers many bases. So if for example when people say the Pope letter and things like that, right?
Right.
We know that came from modern Europeans. That was no Pope secretary or whatever like that. That was modern Europeans who were on the sovereignty info, that they know that about the straw man and all that stuff. And that was their writ that they put out. That was their judicial proclamation that they put out.
So you're saying basically, even though they had like I don't know how many signatures as a witness, you're saying they came together and they frauded this document to make it seem as it came from this person that we're reading it as is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I get you.
Right. So that doesn't take away from the letter, because if it's coming from free people and then they're down with the Constitution and what the authority is here, then yeah, they're entitled to their claim.
All right, so okay, how you said you're at, you have the keys to the temple, you got this, you got that, and this and a third. As far as, certain Moors that are in, what people call the United States of America, right? A lot of those people, they're claiming a nationality through a corporation standpoint. If I'm wrong, please correct me, because the way that I see
What's
it.
what's the corporation they're claiming it to?
So when some of the documents I read, like that said Drew Lee, filed something in Chicago, Illinois back in the day, isn't what he did. Basically, he created that corporation for the Moorish Science Temple of America, right?
That's what he did at that time, but there was things happening before that had nothing to do with registering or incorporating with anything, and the activity was still going on.
Okay,
so the religious, the whole religious corporation aspect was because of one, trying to get the people's attention, because our people were religious, so they would need something religious to transfer from Christianity to.
Okay.
Right? And then the other side of it, that it's a constitutional right to religion. So it's still constitutional enforcement, even if it's a religious corporation. It doesn't mean that the rights of the people are relinquished because it's a corporation now. Because the corporation is flying a national flag, not a religious flag.
Okay, so my next question is, since you brought up, Drew Ali, Emperor of Morocco, who signed a treaty of peace and friendship with the United States, right, of 1786. That was Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Khattab, right? So in order for any Moors to fall under the red flag, wouldn't they need to be under the protection of that red flag, which falls under either the emperor or the king of Morocco?
No, the flag 50,000 years old. What do I have to do with him?
No, I'm just asking the question. That's what I said. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
no, that's what I'm saying. The flag is 50,000 years old. So what? How about the emperors before him?
Before who?
Opposed to this individual, the same one that you're talking about with signing treaties and all that.
Right. No, I was just asking a question about Drew Ali and the Emperor of Morocco, just, back, in those years, just to have a clarity of standpoint.
No, from the standpoint of the Moroccan jurisdiction, that wasn't just over there, that was over here too.
Right.
Right.
But that was under the protection of the Emperor of Morocco back in 1785, right?
Yeah, because the emperor is the head of an empire.
Okay, so now that we're going to the empire, right? So if the empire never was, destroyed the way the Caucasians came in and destroyed it, right? It would still be
Mm-hmm.
an emperor to this day, correct?
Mm-hmm. But there isn't because they did destabilize it. They didn't destroy it.
Okay, I like
But
that word. I like that word.
but remember the idea, the presentation that Noble Drew Ali brought is that we're from here.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with him over there. You're from here is what Drew Ali's position is. We're Moors from over here. We're not Moors that got something from over there and then they gave it to us over here and all that. We're on this side. I'm Cherokee. I'm Washita. Right. This is Drew Ali, born North Carolina. Well, he wasn't a slave though.
Right. Okay, so we both can agree that majority of this land that, you know, people are standing on is the land of the Washita, right?
The land of the Moors, yeah.
Okay, so if we can agree on that, so all of the Moors who are, you know, proclaiming their nationality, where are they getting this authority to, you know, stand on this status? Even though everybody's saying it's part of your birthright, you can't
No,
just.
but that's exactly what it is. It's your birthright.
Okay.
So somebody can't tell you can't do something.
All right,
This
so
is a
look,
birthright.
look, my next question is, right, when we look at the Kingdom of Morocco and he has, you know, his diplomatic protocol and all of this and a third, right? Where do we get you know, people who are not the right word, you know, up on the study on diplomatic protection or diplomatic anything? Where do people pick up the studies for that degree?
Well, that's supposed to come from your interaction with them. You being one of those yourself. Embassy doors open all the time. You know, ain't nothing to go in there and talk with somebody. They're you present yourself to them and they say, oh yeah, the Moors, and they start talking about Moorish history and whatever to you. And then you leave there. What did that do? Because our idea is you know diplomatic is being able to go whatever. Where are you going anywhere? You're home. Where are you going?
But what I'm getting to is if it's different national people coming from different countries, right? We're
You ever
interacting with them.
wonder why? You ever wonder why everybody's coming here? Because they know that the people here are docile in their mind. They don't have a birthright. They don't understand what birthright is. So this is free reign for anybody to come here and have a better life. The land of milk and honey. But the key is that you better have a nationality. That's the only way you're gonna have a good life. And everybody who comes here with a nationality, they have a good life. They have their little community over there where it's only them and their people and their food and their language and their whatever. And then we got the hood. And then they come, then they build some condos or whatever, and they do this and they do that, and they set up their thing and they build their school and they build their whatever. And we get a store or something. And then they come and they buy a community.
Now, how do they get that
You know what I mean?
authority to do that? Like, who are they talking to get that access?
No, they're taking they're taking your birthright.
But this is what I'm saying. The people who are doing
Your
this
birthright.
birthright theft, where are they getting that authority, that access from to create this?
They're getting the authority from the minorities who don't claim their birthright because it's abandoned. So if it's abandoned, that means they gave it up. So whoever else sees it and picks it up and does whatever, they could do whatever because it was abandoned. This is why Drew Ali said, if you don't do anything else, declare your nationality.
So okay, this is what I'm saying. I was talking to a friend, right? And he said he was talking to some people of his, which was traveling through Florida, right? I don't know what temple or which set of Moors they went to get their paperwork from, but they got their paperwork, their IDs, their license plate, all of that, right? They're traveling in Florida and they get pulled over and they hand them all of their credentials, right? Because they proclaim the nationality. And the cop tells them that this isn't, I can't remember the exact words, but he basically said, it had no legal standing anywhere.
Mm.
So like
Yeah, but
to
what
stand
was the
on
outcome
who,
though?
so this is
But
what I'm
what
saying.
was the outcome though? But what was the outcome?
I didn't get into the extra details because this is just a friend that I was talking to, and this is like one of his close friends. So I didn't ask, every XYZ. But this kind of what I was saying. Like if these cops aren't honoring our proclamation, our travel documents, our license plates, like how can we stand on this stuff? Like where do we get the
You just got muted right there. I don't know what happened. You froze too. I'll put it like this. Yeah, I can hear you now. Let
okay?
me put look at it like this. They're criminals. So you shouldn't be expecting anything right from them off the top. Automatically, don't think I'm gonna get my nationality card and stuff's gonna go smooth, right? Because they're criminals. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they're just gonna accept it. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get disappointed when you run into the wrong one, right? So opposed to looking at it from them, look at it from do I recognize it? Do I recognize this as my birthright? Because if you don't recognize it, nobody outside yourself is gonna recognize it,
I get what you're saying. So
right?
but look, check this. So I got another person, right, who kind of showed me about Emperor Khufu, right? And
Mm,
this brother, he's a little elder than myself. I'm 31. He's maybe in his
mm,
50s, something like that, right? He
mm.
got nationalized with Emperor Khufu, right? And he showed this cop just a picture of his nationality, and they don't touch him. They don't say nothing to him. They don't look his way, nothing. So versus
Yeah, but that might not be because of that. That might be because of prehistory of them dealing with Moors in that jurisdiction where Moors have it shut down.
But this is what I'm
Like
saying. This all happened in
for
the
example,
same
that
amount of time, but one person was in Florida, the other person was in a different state. In Florida, they got no legal standing, and then the other one,
no, but that's because they say that. That doesn't mean that there's no legal standing. That's because those highwaymen said there's no legal standing, but that doesn't mean there's no legal standing. They're trained to say that. They're trained to present it from the perspective that what you're doing is wrong by not having a license. But if you're indigenous, why would you have a license? I'm indigenous. I'm not from the United States Corporation. I'm not your ward. I have a right to self-determination as Aboriginal and indigenous. So I have our government's ID. I don't need your people's ID, and they're supposed to know that that's diversity of citizenship because I'm a Moor, you're a European, or you're a corporation, and I'm a free institution, and the jurisdictions don't cross.
so
You know what I mean?
okay, I get you. So if somebody's like title as a head of state, what would that mean versus somebody who's not a head of state?
If somebody's a head of state, they better have been elected. If somebody's an emperor and nobody elected them, I would question their emperorship.
So what about the queen? Who elected the queen to be a head of the state of Europe? Just to have that type of clarity.
Yeah, that's over there. Oh, on that side is where you would find out about that. I'm not over there. I don't know.
No, I get you, but
But I know
there's
it's
a
a
lot
but
of
I know
people
it's
who
a
are
it's
working under her social security card in America, and it's like nobody questioned, who elected the Queen of England. A lot of people think the president run America, but when you really start digging and doing research, the queen is really ahead of all of these corporations, and nobody really knows it. People pay taxes. I went to this real estate class, and they said the Queen of England get 33% of your taxes before you even get your check. So, you know.
Yeah, but that's because of colonization. That's not because of her authority or whatever. That's because their whole plan is to make sure that you have nothing and they control everything. That's how they're looking at it, right? All they want is control. All they want to do is be the puppet master. They don't want to have anything, right?
All right.
And again, you see how all these things keep you off in the side over here, opposed to dealing with what Drew Alib laid down, which is gonna correct all these issues. Because there's already supposed to be a national body. There's already supposed to be a head of state. When you look at Drew Ali's time, he was dealing with heads of state. So that means he was one, right?
If he's dealing with them, it sounds like it.
All right. So if he's dealing with them, then that means he's one. So if he said that we're beneficiaries of the vast estate that he's using to exercise his birthright, then what that mean about us?
That if we're not
Does
doing
that
the
mean we have
same,
the authority?
if it sounds like it, but if we're not operating from that authority level, then we're not doing it the way that we should be.
Exactly, which is why you have all these 50 different people calling themselves the emperor or something, trying to resurrect the Moorish whatever, instead of just getting out with the program that the man laid down in the 20s that worked.
Okay, so now I got another question, since we both kind of on the same page right now. So how you said, about the head of state, and how we went to that place. Now I checked out all of these documents that Khufu got on his website, right? And certain documents, like with the Washita Moors, right? Since we both agreed that, this is the land of the Washita Moors, right? So if somebody is nationalized as a Maku chief, right? Somebody give you the nationality and they're a crown prince, to be exact, Crown Prince Ramesses, Crown Prince Adel Bey, he nationalized Khufu as a Maku chief, right? So under that type of venue for authority being appointed to you, right, you can, operate differently than, just Bob over here or Sherry over there, right?
Yeah, but shouldn't it be an even thing? Why is it hierarchical?
No,
why is it that he has certain? Why is it that he has certain levels that he could do stuff on, but I can't do stuff on those levels? Why is he higher than thou? Which is what it gets into when you start dealing with the personality versus the knowledge.
I get you. I'm just following up because we both
You know
just agreed that you have to be. You said you got to be voted into a head of state position. So I asked you a question about that, right?
No, but I'm saying that's selection. What you're talking about, like with me being Grand Chief, right? I was selected to be Grand Chief. I wasn't elected. I was selected to be Grand Chief. I was selected to be Divine Minister. I was selected to be Assistant Grand Chief, and all the titles going down because there was nobody else.
Right.
And then when I got here, then we started, bringing people into it. Is how we said who's gonna be whatever, and their work is gonna show that they're worthy for that position, not what somebody said. So anybody could say, I saw brother Bay at the meeting, doing the work of so and so. So we know that he's that. Oh, brother L Bay was doing the gardening, so we know that he's the gardener. That's the guy who's going to be doing the landscaping and all that, right? Because your work is going to show you approved, not necessarily somebody checking off a box of whose name they want to be the head ballot or something like that. Because this is about activity. This is about what are you doing? Are you doing for the nation, or are you doing for yourself?
I get you, brother. I'm just saying a lot of these Moors, I got family member, you know, and they all got their own opinions. Some challenged me when I was talking about, you know, Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey. You know, I had a cousin, a blood cousin, and he got nationalized under Alim El Bey, and his you know credentials looked at grade A. You know, when I seen everything, it looked at grade. And the thing about it was he was dealing with a court matter, and they told him that you know he had no status with his credentials. So it's like if we're recognized, you know, nationwide, worldwide, wherever.
Yeah, that's the wrong perspective to look at it, because it's not recognized till you recognize it. It's your birthright that you're reclaiming. Somebody can't give it to you in a paper, or give it to you in a card, or give it to you in the secret code word is, you know, touch your fez on the right side and the judge is gonna, that ain't how the stuff's gonna work.
Nah, I get you.
You know what I mean? That's the game that they play with people. You know what I'm saying? To get them thinking that, oh, I got this situation. Okay, well, you know, talk to that more over there, because he went to court 500 times and 499 times he got off. You know, and then you go do it, and then 499 times they throw the book at you, and one time they let you off. And then you're going to say, oh, well, they don't recognize me or whatever. Well, didn't they recognize one time? Yeah, okay, so if they recognize one time, that means they recognize. I don't care what they do.
I don't know, man. I mean, I hear you. It sounds easier said than what is actually.
Yeah, because again, we're dealing with time. You know what I mean? Like it's like you know, eventually you're gonna be the Steph Curry passing Ray Allen. I'm Ray Allen. You're the up and coming. You're the next generations that's gonna take this. So the best that I could do is put you on all the game so that you don't have to go through the BS that I went through by the time you get to where I'm at.
All right, so since it's for the next generation, I guess the real.
Yeah, because that's how Drew Ali set it up. That look out for the young and unborn. This is not for me. Like, I'm not doing all this for me to get something, even though I get stuff, you know what I mean? Like, even though I benefit from the birthrights, but it ain't for me to benefit. It's for the generations after to benefit.
Okay.
That they can walk down the street and not have a license or whatever like that, show their nationality card because all the work that we did, all the sacrifice that we laid down. And then the word just said sacrifice in the chat, right?
Right.
All the sacrifice that we laid down so that the younger generations could be Moors a little bit more free than we were Moors. Because we're under occupation, and occupation's probably going to be there a little while if you're looking at what's going around with the climate right now. You know what I mean? They're doing what they want to do. So, you know.
All right, so I guess my question is, if you got, you know, Emperor Khufu's website, would you be willing to check out the papers for yourself to see what you think, or are you not really interested in, you know, building and working with somebody who has something that could benefit everybody?
Well, it's not you know, like, yeah, send me just DM me the site. You know, I'll check it and see what's good. But again, we're students of Alim Bey, who's Washita. And he traveled here on Washita plates in 06. So there ain't nobody else for us to ride with. We already brought him here to do lectures 6 times and all that. You know what I mean? We have mad Skypes with him and, you know, different ways of connecting, because he's one of our ones that when we came in, while everybody else playing games and holding back on info, he's giving us the fullness. He's giving us the everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
That we came up on Washita paperwork from Alim Bay.
But see, that's kind of why I got a question on a lot of Moors, because like I said, I have a blood cousin like from my dad's family, and he went to Alim Bay because, you know, everybody think they're on the right path, they're doing the right thing when they're, you know, looking for help or just looking to do the right thing. And the thing about it is, with the whole Alim thing, like I said, my cousin was about to get the plates. He going for the full everything. And when we got introduced to Emperor Khufu, he was telling us about, you know, back in the day, how all of these different Moors were doing all of these different things. And as you can see today, you got a lot of Moors who are putting a tax exempt number on their license plates from the Moorish Science Temple of America. You got a lot of egos that's doing a lot of these things, but in the long run, have we seen any of Alim El Bey nationality, like and like eyesight level? Like, you know, you go on Khufu's website, you can see his nationality. He'll post it on his live YouTube Zooms, like in his hand, so you can see that it's the actual nationality docket back in 2003. I haven't seen anything from Alim El Bey, and it's like he got a video called Receipts, and he's telling you, you know, how to redeem this commercial remedy, but he's not really showing you anything about his nationality, you know, who declared his nationality, who was, if they had a ceremony. He didn't say anything about that. So it's like, you know, for certain people that have a let's say the Queen, I like using her as an example because they have a lot of different ceremonies and different nations follow that fashion, right? So it's like for Alim to say he's Washita, has anybody besides, you know, himself seen his nationality? Have they seen what's on his nationality? Have they seen any, you know, authority handed down from the crown prince to Alim after, you know, before his death? There's no proof. And it's like, you know, all of these people are saying they got this authority. The only one who show you some real proof seems to be Khufu, and it's on his website.
What I'm saying is that the work is what shows and proves to me, for me. This is how I was brought up. That you look at Moore's activity, right? The negative stuff that Alim did and the good that he did, as far as me, doesn't equate. He probably got 15% negative stuff he did, and everything else is good. Not even gonna debate whatever negative stuff people are gonna talk about, because the work that he put in, he's allowed to fall down the stairs a couple of times.
Yeah, we're not dragging nobody. I'm just
ain't nobody's, you know what I mean, master of themselves like that, or you wouldn't be on earth.
Right.
So we're not even going there like that.
Right. Nah,
you know,
I get you.
The work that he put in speaks for itself. And again, for us, we've seen him on his own tags out here. No questioning, no stopping, no anybody asking questions, where do you get them plates? None of that. This is 06. Had the red Cherokee. The red Cherokee from Carolina to here and back. No issues. Red Washita tags. I remember it like it was yesterday. And that was our first intro to the Moorish, whatever, because we brought him here to do a metaphysics lecture. And this is when they're about to go in the car and leave. We're like, what the hell is this? What is this? I thought you came from North Carolina or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And that was it. You know, I'll call you when I get back. And that's how we got the Moorish intro from seeing some plates that said Washita on it. So is he legit? Is he the heir of the whatever like that? I don't know. I don't care, but I heard about Alim Bey's name more than Khufu's name.
Hey, I like I say, I'm just asking a question, and
yeah, no, and I'm just answering based on where I'm at.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not no bias or anything like that. I don't know. When I hear Washita, all I know is we were talking about this yesterday. When I hear Washita, all I know is Umar Shabazz Bey, Alim and Khadira El Bey, and the Empress.
Yep.
And then prior to that, it's Henry Turner and the heirs of Henry Turner.
I got you. Yeah, like I
mean?
say, I got plenty of cousins, family who debated with me because of what I was doing, and
yeah,
you know, I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not trying to drag nobody. So let's get that straight. I'm just, what I have picked up on in my recent travels, even with the brother Jamal, even though everybody's still waiting on his freedom. A lot of his documents that he introduced people to, he referenced that GA 5604B, and that document Khufu said was his document. So I asked Khufu on his live YouTube, I said, if any Moors are using that as a reference points to show that Moors are recognized in the states, I said, can Moors even do something like that? And he said, as far as what he know from his travel years, that's not, the proper thing to do, if it's not your document. So it's like, how can anybody?
But why not? But why not? How is it his document?
So this
if it's birthright,
this is what I'm
if it's birthright,
this question I'm
right?
asking you, right? So when he said that, it made me think, what Drew Ali did for us, how can we still use that stuff if we wasn't, at that point in time, like connected with him to get that authority from him? How can we use those documents? That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
But as far as documents, he didn't bring anything other than the Moorish literature, Holy Quran, 101 questionnaire. That was the documents, divine constitution and bylaws. As far as documents, those are the documents that he presented, and that's public record. Anybody could read those. Anybody could use those as a reference.
So you guys recognize Drew Ali as the fifth Dimasan root?
Say it again?
You guys don't recognize Drew Ali as the fifth Marquise Dimasan root?
No, of course. Because Henry Turner's his uncle. So like we know he's the man. That's why we know that he's the man.
All right.
He's the man. It ain't about anybody but him. That's the whole point. He wasn't just the prophet. He's the heir to the estate. And then what he did to trump the 68,000 acres that they're talking about in the suit, right? Is that he brought the Moroccan Empire into question now by presenting that in the Quran. And then now that becomes the deed. All you got to do is put the seal in the Holy Quran. And if every Moor is exercising that the Holy Quran is the deed to the land, that this is our vast estate, and every Moor is talking from that perspective, then that's what it's going to be. Because we're supposed to make law and enforce law, right? As according to Drew Ali.
Right. So that's my next question, right? So when they say that, right, they say a Grand Sheikh title is supposed to be equivalent as a governor, where you can, make policies, make law, you could get people pardoned, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So by you having the title Grand Sheikh, right, does where your location is positioned at, does your authority status, however you want to word it, shape it, does it allow you to carry upon that that authority as that's equivalent to a governor?
For example, the chaplain of the prison.
So if it's pardon somebody, or if it's writing law, can you perform or exercise either one of those things?
No, but that's for our jurisdiction. I'm not that to be meddling in their jurisdiction. I'm not a governor for them. For some modern Europeans that have some government over here.
Right. No, I'm not.
I'm a governor. I'm a governor for the Moors.
Right. Okay.
So a Moor, a Moor would, for example, a Moor would get kidnapped, and their consort would call me as far as consul, because the consort would already know what to do, because her and him are, you know what I mean? They study together and they're unified.
So it's like a state,
you know what I mean?
It's like a state-to-state function basis then, right? When they call you.
Right. That's the functioning. That's the state-to-state interaction. Not him going to them. Him going to them is his issue. He's just seeking counsel to deal with the issue. But he's not going to fly me out and then I'm going to go to court for him or something like that. There was even situations where what do you call it? The PD is calling. The PD is calling in order to see if we would sign off on ours, so somebody doesn't have to do jail time. Right?
Yeah, I hear you.
And then it's based on some good behavior, whatever. Right? They have people who the chaplains of the prison are calling us to send them books directly. Books that they're not supposed to get in population like that they can't get in the mail. But because of their religious right to the book, it's going to go through the chaplain, and then now they could get it. And then that's only happening because the chaplain has to deal with some type of religious whoever outside of the institution that understands where this inmate's religious perspective is. And when they start talking Moorish in there, and they start bringing them imams, and they start bringing them all these people, and they're like, no, that's not what it is. Like, I need a Grand Sheikh or whatever to talk to. You know what I mean? No, I don't want this Quran. I need the Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple. Yeah, then they're calling me to get it sent in there. Like, I would look at that as governor or government to government relations. You know what I mean? Not from the perspective of they're gonna call me to get him off of the charges, to prove that the Moors have some authority of that ain't. Whatever he did, he's in there. Whatever he did. You ain't saying anybody's right or they did something wrong. We do know that the people who are holding them are criminals. We know that. Regardless of what this individual did, they shouldn't be holding them, because we already know that the system is a revolving door, and they just devour people's lives to exist. Prison industrial complex and all that. You know?
Yeah, no, I definitely get you. That's why I reached out. You sound very knowledgeable. Sound like a very smart individual who, if they read something, they can comprehend it. So that's why I did reach out and just ask, some small questions just to get clear.
Yeah. No worries. This is what it is. You know what I mean? This is what the whole point of having the quote unquote title or whatever is, to serve the people. If you're not serving the people, then you can't have the title. You can't be serving yourself and have the title. You know what I mean? It's like one of the Moors said at a lecture, talking about the people's authority and how important the the nationals of the nation are, not just the heads, not just to look at the heads only or whatever. You know, he was making the reference to, you know, all the grand sheiks and all the governors and all the whatever. Yeah, let's get together or whatever like that. And all of them get together and they're there talking to themselves, opposed to taking all that wisdom and giving it to the people. Right?
Right. Nah.
That,
I dropped the website, but I'll send it actually to
all right.
personal message.
Yeah, just send it in the DM and I'll take a look at it.
All right, yeah.
But again,
It was great
it's a thing
with
of
you. You know,
yeah.
we'll connect at another point. Right now, actually,
Yeah, for
I gotta
sure.
run. I gotta go finish some business before it gets even later. But
yeah, do your thing.
Peace and love. Until next time.
Give thanks for the bill, Mark.
All right, thanks, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's hard with the pop-up people. Again, I don't care what anybody says, what happened and with them and Dr. Aleem and all that stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? That's more Avengers. So they're not even nothing to that's more Avengers. Leaving to there, they're in. They're into the point of '06 standing in a field hand in hand with them meditating. They're in like that. Right? They're in like that. So we're not sure what people are trying to do as far as the thing with the Washita or whatever like that, and authority and who has authority and whatever. If they had some type of 50 billion note something that could spread around to the Moors, then I could see them arguing about who has authority. But if we're just being Moors and trying to wake our people up, then ain't no authority thing right now. Peace and love, Moor.
How you doing, brother? How you doing? I just want to get some information on how I start participating in this movement, because I just understood some more information on it and I'm very new to it. So could you please explain to me maybe some books or maybe some pointers you can give me? Because I live in Toronto, right? And I'm trying to understand. Yeah, I live in Toronto. So Canada. So
you could DM me. You could DM me because I'm in Scarborough.
Oh, you're in Scarborough.
So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, we need to link up then, fam. Hold on, you need to close the door. I don't want anyone listening. So yeah. Because I've been following this movement for a while, but I had no idea what was going on. You know. So I would really like to follow up and get some information and start helping my people. Because these Europeans are doing some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
we were talking about some of that earlier.
Yeah,
but, you know,
they're
going to do what they're
criminals. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. So knowing that they know what they're doing, we better start doing something. Because they're doing right, and especially when we look at out here, the Punjabis are doing right.
They're all in the community. They all have their own business, and they're just
the Asians are doing right. All right, so everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, right? Except certain people.
Okay.
Except certain people who want to classify themselves as minority and Negro and black and whatever. While everybody else around them has a nationality and they're prospering. They have their own community. They have their own place of worship. They have their own whatever it is that they need.
And you've been in Toronto, right? It's not even multicultural. It's just like it's a front piece. It's not really, a unionized, or it's like equality or whatever you want to call it. It's like it's a front piece. It's like an illusion basically when you go there, and all these people are trying to pretend to like be one, nationality or like one equal group, but really it's just like the same stuff that's going on all the time. You get what I'm saying? So I see what you're saying, brother. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, man, you could just send me your number. I'll link you after this. Just send me your number in the DM.
Okay. I'm gonna get off this, but thank you for your help. And I appreciate your work, and God bless.
Yo, give thanks. Just send me a message in the DM, yo. We'll build.
All right. One love.
All right. Peace, bro. Right? That's all it's about. Giving the people an opportunity. But it's their stuff. It ain't some grand sheiks thing. Anybody telling you it's a grand sheiks thing? Anybody telling you that it's some grand chic thing? That make you a Moor and all that. I can't make you a Moor. You're a Moor. Your mom is not a modern European, you're a Moor. If your mom is a modern European and your dad's Asiatic, then you're amalgamated Moor. So honors to you too. You might be looking pale and stuff, thinking that, you have dark eyes and dark hair and all that stuff. Auburn and so know that we are all Moors. That's a book, by the way, by Anor Majid. We are all Moors. Being the minority is my circumstance, not my identity. Among scholars, practitioners, politicians, and the media, the term minority is often used to refer to people of color, human beings of African and Asian descent. However, the etymology of the term minority means the smaller part or number, or an amount forming less than half of the whole. Minority also suggests diminution. To say that people are the minority because they are not part of the racial, ethnic, and political majority in the United States is accurate, but it is appropriate to use group statistical representation as euphemism for their identity. Besides, are people in the majority labeled as majorities? Are the people in majorities labeled majorities? Never, ever. And the minority is always in the biggest number. So obviously they're not a minority. Minority means civil liter mortuus. Dead in the eyes of the law. Which is why they want the people in confusion. Because once the people are in confusion, then they're not going to want to know about Noble Drew Ali and their nationality and their birthrights. They're not going to want to know about it because of their nationality and their birthrights. That's the key. So those are the keys. Nationality and birthrights. That has to be the foundation before you start. As soon as they start with, oh yeah, we're part of this, and they start telling you about all this and all that, and they ain't brought up Noble Drew Ali yet, playing games with you. He needs to be mentioned early off. He's supposed to be mentioned. Not supposed to be no long thing before they mention him. He's supposed to be the first thing that comes up. First thing. You're more? Yeah. No, any questions? Well, see, the bank's trying to take the house, and I heard that I can. You heard about Noble Drew Ali? Yeah, well, the bank's trying to. You see, Noble Drew Ali. Well, and then if Noble Drew Ali, because they want our people in panic mode. Noble Drew Ali, calm that ass down quick. Quick. Kill the panic. Stop panicking. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Drew Ali brought you out of the minority status into your nationality. into your birthrights, so you can take your place amongst the affairs of men. Because the affairs of whoever you've been dealing with has done nothing good for our people. So it's time to switch up. You must be tired of the BS. Come on now. You must be tired. Can't still be down with all this labeling BS. We don't know who we are yet. Know thyself. Still trying to know thyself. In the 20s, Drew Ali first page telling you know thyself, and you don't want what you got. But you know yourself though. You don't know what Drew Ali? Nah, I don't know what that is. You don't know shit. What do you know? No, Drew Ali's the first one told you know yourself in America. Name somebody else who told you. Who told you know thyself before Noble Drew Ali in the 1920s? Dissing the prophet. Drew Ali's the man. Drew Ali is the man. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. If not, we out of here. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. It's good to see that there's some Moors near Toronto getting in there. That's what's up. That's what's up, yo. Word's getting out. Word's getting out. People are feeling the energy shift. Feeling the energy shift. It's unavoidable if you're in tune. If you're on the frequency, the shift is unavoidable. You know, there's different levels of shifts, so don't think because you went through it that's it. You know, another shift coming soon for that ass. You better be aware. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Much love to all you Moors. Don't forget, we're celebrating Drew Ali, January 8th, 2022, 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. More's going to be going in. More's going to be going in. Just because it's just Drew Ali Day on Drew Ali Day. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Supreme honors to all the mothers out there. Whether you have children or not, you're a mother. You're still mother. Don't worry, you're a mother always. Honors to all the Moors. All the Moors. Once you know about your nationality and your birthrights, and you know that you're a Moor, you're not the minority. Not civil little Mortus, Negro, black, colored, and all that. Honors to you. Supreme honors to you. And if you're teaching your children, honors to you some more. Giving them a chance. So we don't have to see them go through our BS. And also, too, if it's a little, you know, finance, a little fiat, or some gold, silver, or something, you know, put something away for them, you know, so they don't have to struggle like how we struggled, you know. So put something away for them. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all. Islam.